My friends, good evening. Big scandal at the Ministry of the Interior, where it seems that hackers managed to access very sensitive files at the ministry. So we're talking about the TAJ and the FPR, which are respectively the Criminal Records Database. That means it will contain. I wanted to say the resume, the criminal record of people, and also ongoing cases, files, names, data, all that. We don't know exactly what was stolen yet, but if we believe the hackers, they have more than 16 million files. The FPR is the file of wanted persons, the file of wanted persons as well, with all the records. How did they do it? Quite simply, they got into email accounts. They managed to hack email accounts. How? We're not sure. The password might have been 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. From there, what they did was, in the exchanges in the email threads, they found that there were people exchanging accounts with passwords. In plain language, I'll admit I don't want to just criticize the Ministry of the Interior, but I work in a lot of companies, including in cybersecurity. And what's going to happen is that someone creates an account for you and you receive an email about it. Someone says, here's the link, your login and password. You see what I mean? So sometimes they give you a password, which is a bit nicer. They give you a one-time password. Yes, the email contains a password, but once you log in, the system requires you to change it, which helps to reduce, let's say, the damage. But in this case, we're interested in, it seems that the accounts were still active. So from there, the hackers using these accounts were able to get in and steal or take large amounts of data. Like when I talked about it last time with the French Federation of Sports Shooting, it's the same. How can accounts access millions and millions of files without any alarm being raised, without any system reacting, without anything being triggered anywhere? You see a limit. I mean, let's say an agent working at the Ministry of the Interior, let's say on average, checks 10 files a day. We could set the limit at 25 or 15, depending on our risk tolerance. We analyze statistics and decide not to disturb people so they can work. On average, they handle 10 files daily, but looking at the distribution, many handle 15 or 18 files per day. We're going to set a limit at 25, and that way, if we ever reach that level, we'll create a throttling system, a blocking system, an authorization system, an alarm somewhere, you see, so that the legitimate employee can easily bypass it. He tells his manager, the system is blocking me. Can you approve it? Accept the email so I can access. And the manager approves. And well, the limit is raised to 50 or 70 files, you see. But allowing that, and we see this very often in systems that are quite simplistic once you get inside, where you just need to log in as an agent and you're able to pull the entire database. So in this case, 16 million records are completely taken just like that. But, you know, when I'm in cyber, I'll tell you something. I can't say everything, but I'll still let you in on something. I remember once we had a country from the European Union, and we discovered that they had a network line. There was a network transfer. I'm not talking about a physical line. I'm talking about a network transfer to a server in China. Well, it was sending at, I don't remember the exact speed, the bandwidth. I think it was about 1 gigabit per second for 5 years. All right, it had been going on for 5 years. It's not easy to find, but it had been transferring data for 5 years. Literally, it replicated their entire system abroad and they didn't even know. Guys, all right. Still, that's a lot, but that's just how it is. Actually, it was a state institution too. I can reveal that. That's how it is. The problem with the state. You know, beyond that, we can talk about procedures, we can talk about firewalls, intrusion prevention system, things like that. We can, it's not a problem, we can, but I'll tell you where the real problem is. The problem is that you have a rather delicate situation with the government. The government is fundamentally incapable. It's incapable of everything. Just look at earlier. I was talking about someone who once said, if we go back a century, the United Kingdom had 500,000, 500,000. 500,000 civil servants, and it had practically no tax revenue. That's very low. And it managed 25 of the planet There was an empire that spanned 25, a quarter of the planet, you see, managed by 500,000 civil servants, even though there was quite a bit of outsourcing too. All that there still is today, that would change things. Today we have an island, the United Kingdom, just a small island. The empire is gone. 99% of the United Kingdom is gone. From the empire on which the sun never sets, it has become the empire on which the sun never rises. Today they have 6 million civil servants and they hire 5,000 civil servants every month. Managing a small island isn't hard, but they're doing it badly. France and Germany are the same. We're in a situation where we have states that are getting bigger and more expensive. European countries today no longer belong to the people but to the state, while this country belongs to its people. You see, France isn't about history, it's not about culture, it's not about language, it's not about religion, it's not about geography, it's not about borders. France is the state. If you don't like it, you can leave. And I talk to a lot of people who have left, but in reality, these people who have left are more legitimate in their country, the country of their ancestors, than the state. You see, and he's in the hands of lobbyists, politicians, ideologues, and bankers, you see? Well, today citizens say to themselves they are France, it's the French state, it's this sprawling, incompetent administration that literally, if I stay under its yoke, steals my freedoms every day, takes bigger and bigger chunks of my income, and then in the end is unable to secure a website, is unable to secure a database. And yet this state that is unable, isn't it, to secure a database? Well, it's able to demand more and more data every day. Look, a few days ago, the French tax authorities required that from 5,000 euros, people who hold more than 5,000 euros in crypto must declare it to the tax authorities. You see, they have to, look, today you can be, you can have a woman or a man who has been married for 30 years, 5 children, then gets divorced. You can have a girl who's been with someone for 20 years, then one day she breaks up, you see. But with the state, it's an irrevocable relationship. You can't break it unless you leave their country. It's not your country. You have a coercive relationship with them. And if you're not happy, you leave. You leave, you see. And sometimes you even have to pay to leave. So what I'm trying to say is that they demand this. For example, about 2 months ago at 5:30, there was a woman, a civil servant who worked for the tax services, who was looking at taxpayers' files and who sold the data to mafias, to criminals. Okay, so you see, I don't know if you've been following the news a bit these past months, these past weeks. Well, what's happening is that there are crimes that are actually orchestrated by this kind of thing. People suspected of owning crypto, we're certain they do, and then this, it could even go so far as to threaten their lives. And what happens? We have the state that has sold, that sells, yes, it sells the names and addresses of these people through corrupt officials. You see, who get this information through coercion? Because you have to know. I've told you many times, we live in a world of mutual agreement and constant contact. We can end a relationship, start a conversation, end it whenever we want. We can enter a situation, we can go into a restaurant, then leave whenever we want. I mean, we live by mutual agreement, we have mutual agreement, it doesn't work. In both cases, we live under coercion when it comes to the state or when it comes to criminals. These two categories, these two entities should be put in the same box and act with coercion. In our lives, the state is no longer, if you notice, the state is no longer the expression of the popular will, but quite the opposite. It has taken on a life of its own and makes us live under coercion, and we have to obey, otherwise all right. So, I was saying the state extracts by force, by coercion, because everything it does, we have a coercive relationship with the state. There is nothing optional. As soon as it says something, you have to comply. The problem is that what we unfortunately have in the West, it's that there are states with totalitarian tendencies, but at the same time, there's a population with a tendency to submit. I mean, that's the recipe. It's a recipe for disaster. It's an explosive recipe. It's the recipe that leads straight into a war. You see, because there are populations for whom there's no limit to obedience and conformity. You have states, we've seen it. I mean, There you go. There's no limit to what they can do. All right? So there you go. When you combine the two, well, good luck with that. So as I was saying, it's an absolutely disastrous system with the number of civil servants they have, with the billions they collect. So a good part goes to taxi expenses, to food expenses. You see, they're not able today, they're not able to secure, aren't they, to properly secure a database. I mean, okay, I look at the United States. Yes, they also have major hacking incidents, but when was the last time the federal systems were hacked? When was the last time we hacked a system belonging to an American ministry or something like that and stole their data? I'm not saying it can't happen, but you know, it's still more common in this Europe that's becoming more and more backward. Unfortunately, that's the truth. I watch the news, you know, I'm stunned by what I see. You know, for example, let me give you a simple example. I have to tell you about it. It deserves a video. You know that, for example, starting next year, if you buy the Mercedes class at 220, and it will be the same for the others too. We shouldn't kid ourselves. Well, it will be equipped with a Chinese engine from Geely. Okay, I mean, there you go. I can't offer better symbols, and while we could analyze the symbolism further, you've already understood it, so no extra explanation is needed. All right, my friends, I wish you good night, okay? I'll be back when I come back. I'm leaving you a video in the description, an interesting video. It's a table a bit like Hardison's here in Mauritius with friends, and then we talk about lots of things. I'm sure it will spark your interest. I'll put it in the comments and then we'll talk in the next video. See you very soon.